Bhagavad Gita 2.29. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidенam आश्चर्यवद वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वापि एनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वापि एनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्. So many times we hear, Prabhuji, we are hearing that we are soul, but somehow that we are not able to understand that we are soul. Is it not? And that's what the Lord is affirming. It's not so easy to understand the concept of soul. Why it is not easy? Because the qualities of soul are not to be seen anything in any object in this world. If I say mountain, so okay, if you have seen Himalaya, you can have some conception of Vindhyachal, because at least you have seen Himalaya. But if you have not seen any mountain, what will you conceive of any mountain for that matter? So now the qualities of Atma cannot be found in matter, and everything in this world is dead matter, which is born, which is dying, which is decaying. We read all these qualities of the soul. It does not decay, it does not take birth, all those things. Then people have to scratch their heads. What is that? And many times devotees also ask, at least some point of time we must have taken birth. So you see, even after hearing, it is difficult to understand the reality of the soul. We are ourselves experiencing that, is it not? Yes. On top of it, is it not, astonishing that although we are not the body, just like I am not this room, so I do not really actually feel the pains and pleasure of this room, which the room itself cannot experience pain and pleasure. So similarly, my body is also dead, but I experience pain and pleasure. So what is causing all these things? This is also very astonishing. So let us understand the shloka. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschid enam. Enam is referring to this soul. Kaschid means some people, and pashyati means see. So Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidinam. Some people see the soul as astonishing. See means when they hear tattva. This doesn't mean seeing means they can see the soul directly. Yeah. They are seeing means they're hearing, but trying to see through their hearing. Very astonishing. Then Ascharya vadati tathaiva chanya cha anya, and anya, there are other people also after hearing, they describe the soul as very astonishing. You see one particle of soul and it is illuminating the whole body. That also is very astonishing. Sometimes you may see a very astonishing scene. So after seeing that scene, you also describe it as very astonishing. What a scene it was, is it not? You have seen it, and now when you're describing it, still you are feeling this astonishment. Does it make sense? This happens so much time like that. Ascharyavat chainam anyaha shrunoti. So now when they describe, others are hearing and they feel very amazed. You remember I was describing, we have discussed in this one of the shlokas, that Atma is Gyan Sarup as well as Gyata Sarup. It is consciousness and conscious. And it was very difficult to understand. Consciousness and conscious. Because, and then we explained with the example of Surya, sun, like that. But it is astonishing. It is knowledge, full of knowledge, and it is knower also. Okay. Yes. Shrutvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. Shrutva api, even though they have heard, they may describe it very, very astonishing when they hear it. But it's not that if they are hearing about it, they are understanding about it. That's why many devotees keep on asking this question. प्रभु जी कभी तो आत्मा आई होगी. At some point in time, Atma must have come. And can you even now conceive that you are eternal, Anish? Like going back and uh-oh. And then as soon as we start meditating on it, I was telling to the devotee, our Prabhu here, that we hear, but we don't meditate on it. It's like eating and not digesting it. So if we meditate upon it, then what will be the first result? We will despise our material desires, even if we have them. What is the value of these material desires? They are not touching me. So I'm just saying, the Lord is saying, Shrutvapi enam. Hearing about his enam, Atma, Vedana. Cha eva kachit, cha eva. Eva means certainly, even after hearing about it, the Atma is not understood. One time I always say, one of my relatives, I was explaining how we are not the body, and she became too much agitated. We are not the body, so we are nothing, we are zero, we are nothing. I said, I did not say you are zero. I just told that we are not the body, we are not the body. It's like this.
Sometimes people also not digest they have Atma.
Yeah, they think it is my Atma. Just like my eyes, they think it's my Atma, it's not your Atma. You are that Atma, which is possessing these senses and bodies. So they are confused. They also use this word, तुमने तुम्हारी आत्मा को बहुत दुख दिया है. You have given too much soul to my Atma. You are that Atma. Like that. And also several times Srila Prabhupada said, if father dies in your home, then you say father has gone. But father is lying there. That is also very astonishing. We are seeing it is happening, but it's amazing that we had one time had asked this question, and many times I've asked this question, are we changing? And one devotee immediately answered, Prabhuji, body, we are seeing the change in ourselves. We are seeing the change in ourselves. But are we seeing the change in ourselves? We are seeing the change in the body. And for seeing the change, we as an observer have to remain fixed. If you have studied physics, you know that the reference frame has to be fixed. So the reference frame is Atma, on which all these changes are, on which, not in the Atma, on which all the changes of the body are seen. It's all very astonishing. Before we go further, I will again want to remind the devotees of the word Kutastha. Kutastha means unchanging. And very nicely explained by Sarbham Prabhu yesterday. He said there is an anvil. Anvil, you understand, those who are mechanical engineering, they know this. An anvil, you put so many things and you beat them up. So the shape of all those things changes, but the anvil doesn't change. This you are going to learn today in Bhagavatam also. That Atma is the Adhisthata, is the place where all these bodily changes are happening. But Atma itself is not changing. On the basis of the Atma, the whole body is existing. The body is transforming, but the Atma is not transforming. So just see, there is nothing in this world which is not transforming. So this quality of Atma, of not transforming, is very astonishing or not? That's what the Lord is saying. Let's see, let's go further. Some look on the soul as amazing. Some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, you could find the file? Yeah. While others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Him is just a way of address. It is not either him or her. Atma cannot be addressed as him or her. Before we go further, let this point be clear. The various souls in the spiritual world, you cannot describe them as him or her, because him or her is a designation, is an upadhi on the soul in this world. In this life, I am him. I'm a boy. No, you're not a boy, Prabhu. You're an old man. Okay, fine man, old man. But in the previous life, I may be a her or she. So this she and he are a designation. Designation, samajh? Designation means like outside my room, it is written Shubh Krishna Das, temple manager. But yeah, so this room has been assigned and the name has been written, but I have nothing to do with the name which is written there on that room, and the room also doesn't have that name of Shubh Krishna Das, temple manager. All these things you understand. Designation, it will come so many times. Upadhi, it's like a label. Label, you understand. It's a labeling has been done. So this his and her is a label. But in Atma, when it goes to the spiritual world, it will accept a form in which it wants to serve Krishna eternally. You cannot categorize it as his or her, although they are gopis and gopas and all those things. Let me just check if the devotees are still awake. Yeah, they're awake. You are still not slept. Okay. So, are you able to understand? We hear of gopas and gopis, and that means male and female forms. What we must understand, their forms are not a designation on them. So you cannot, we may say still Vishnu Dutas and Vishnu Dutini or whatever you can say, but they are all souls, and you cannot, their form is not a designation on them. Somebody like has a form of a woman or gopi, and she wants to serve Krishna in the mood of a gopi. So that form is herself only. Eternal Sarupa. It's a Sarupa. It's not, you cannot say gender discrimination like that. That's why there is no fight in the spiritual world who is better, Mataji or Prabhuji, because there is no difference in Mataji. Everybody is very humble devotee of servant of Krishna. Okay. Okay. Fine. This is a very important point to be understood. Gita Bhushan commentary. Though I have been taught many things by you who are omniscient means who knows everything. I do not understand the nature of the Atma which will drive away lamentation. Why is this? It's such a beautiful link. इतना बता रहे हैं फिर भी अज्ञान नहीं जा रहा है. It's amazing how Arjuna has still not given up his lamentation. So he may say, you have spoken so many things about Atma and Atma being different from the body, but still my lamentation is not going. Now we may laugh at Arjuna, but is our lamentation going? Is it not? If we lose a job and we know somebody loses his wife or all that, do we still not lament? We definitely lament. So that's the point Arjuna is Baldev Vidyabhushan is putting us, that people although hear that they are Atma, but they cannot digest it. Yes. Very interesting. This is quite funny actually. See, there's a hasya ras kind of thing in this commentary. Many times acharyas give a very subtle sense of humor. So like this. Though the jiva's very nature is said to be both knowledge and bliss, you know about it, Sachidanand, there is no incompatibility to that difference in the Sarupa. Though the jiva is knowledge itself, it also takes the role of the knower. Oh, how it came here, I don't know. This devotee who has made it, is it part of the commentary, is it not? I don't know. Oh, the note is here now. This is reference to such statements as Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. The Lord is knowledge and bliss. For the Advaitin, this is a problem. For Brahman is knowledge itself without any qualities. Since the word Anand is used with Brahman, it would seem to give quality to Brahman. The Advaitin then has to give a roundabout explanation using grammar to avoid quality in Brahman. For the Vaishnava, however, there is no difficulty in accepting the two aspects of Brahman. Brahman being a knower is difficult for the Advaitin to accept, since knowing means change and Brahman is without change. Okay, what does it is explained here? You see, they say Aham Brahmasmi. So when they say Aham Brahmasmi, the Mayavadis, they say Brahman is consciousness only light. But it is not conscious. Because as soon as you have conscious, you are conscious of some things. Does it make sense? You are not conscious of something else, now you are conscious of something. So there is some kind of interaction, some quality is happening. So they can't accept that because they say everything is nirvikar, there is no change in Brahman. That's why they find it difficult for them to understand that Atma and the Lord also are both knower and knowledge. That's the whole point which I say that's what people are difficult for them to understand the nature of the jiva. That we mentioned it. Samajh mein aa raha hai baat? The jiva is knowledge, full of bliss, but full of bliss means anand. Anand means experiencing. So when you experience something, you are an experiencer, person who is experiencing. So they say this is difficult for them because then you immediately have to accept the qualities of the souls. They say Atma is just consciousness. But you know that if you say it is not conscious, then it is like a dead matter. And how can you say it is consciousness? So all those things are very confusing. Somebody was asking, I'm not able to understand Mayavadi philosophy. Good, better not to understand. Though the jiva is very small, it is spread throughout a large body. First thing to become astonished. Is it not? Normally, if you just see the behavior of body, if I'm sitting here, I'm not sitting everywhere. So that is the limitation of the body or not? But Atma can expand through his consciousness. And now see, just reflect upon it. The body of ant is so small. The go more smaller. The body of a bacteria is still smaller. And the body of ant is little bigger. And the body of aleph or a human being is still bigger, and the body of giraffe and elephant is more bigger. But the same chip or Atma is driving it. Is it not? Is it not astonishing? And it's amazing that our consciousness is only limited to this body. It doesn't go even an inch outside. It's also very astonishing. समझ में आ रहा है ना? One bulb. See, I give an example. Suppose, okay, yes, switch off. Just keep one light on and switch off all the 3 lights. Don't switch off all the 4 lights. Yes. So now you see less light. Okay. Switch on one more light, more light. So you see, one bulb has capacity to illuminate lesser than 4 bulbs. Do you accept? So, but one soul has the capacity to illuminate as much bigger room, that means the body, as possible. But it can only illuminate one body. समझ में आ रहा मैं क्या करूं? Is it not astonishing? This one tube light is sufficient for illuminating 20 by 20 room or 13 by 14 room, also for 5 by 5 room without any difficulty. Also same illumination for 400 by 400 room. Now will you be astonished? What kind of light it is? What kind of source of light it is? So this is what is being mentioned, that sitting at one place, it is able to illuminate the whole body. And the elephant is also conscious of the tip of his nails in his feet. Do you agree? Same. And we are also very much conscious. And the ant also is very conscious. So the capacity of soul to know within the body is, in a sense, not depending on the size of the body. And the size of Brahmaji is still big, much bigger. So quite amazing, is it not? Yes. So this one thing is very astonishing. Throughout a large body, though having had a relation with many bodies, it is untouched by those transformations. This is something very nice and amazing, that if you put a special kind of water in a glass, the glass will get some touched by that water. Is it not? If you put liquor, it will have that scent. If you put matha, it will have a different scent. But it is being mentioned that Atma, although engaging in sense gratification through various bodies, it doesn't get affected. What does get affected is its consciousness, but the Atma itself, it remains Satchidananda Vigraha without any change. Its consciousness does get affected because we can experience it, but the Atma itself doesn't get changed. Being, and that also actually gets affected by special arrangement of the Lord. Otherwise, pure souls don't get affected. Those whose avidya is destroyed, even while they are in this world, they don't get affected. मेरी दो बातें समझ में आई. We are getting affected only because we want to get affected. And that's why the Lord makes this arrangement of avidya energy, which makes something impossible as possible. Actually, the Atma's consciousness also should not get affected. The pure souls, just like Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Ji, when they come to this world, they are not affected by anything in this world. Shukdev Goswami, nothing. They have no attraction to this world. So this attraction also is amazing, and is actually impossible. But this impossible has been made possible by the Lord by employing His avidya shakti, which covers the knowledge of the soul. Makes sense? Take. Being filled with many such, but Atma cannot be changed. It's very simple. The quality of Atma of being servant cannot be changed. Is it not? We are always servant. Even if we want to change, that we will be enjoyers, are we still servants? Whom we are serving? Our senses, yes. So He is reflect upon us. We are thinking that to become selfless is difficult, but we don't have to become selfless, we are selfless. Because in enjoying material sense gratification, we are not worrying about ourselves at all, whether we have to go hell and heaven. चाहे नरक भी जाना पड़े, मैं इंद्रियों को संतुष्ट जरूर करूंगा. Even if I have to go to hell, I'll definitely satisfy my senses. So we are accepting the master as our senses, and we are ready to serve them very nicely. That is simply a matter of practice. Somehow or other, my senses should become happy. I don't care about myself. Do you understand? Tat sukha sukhitvam, we know. Somehow or other, my senses have to become happy. I think this should be very easy to understand. All of us are conditioned souls that we do, is it not? Yes, I understood, yes. But then what is the difficulty in applying the same principle to Krishna? Somehow that Krishna should be happy. No matter I go to heaven and hell. We will not go to hell by if you serve Krishna, but what is the difficulty? नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. अरे आप पहले से ही सेल्फलेस हो, तो फिर सेल्फलेसनेस को कृष्ण में क्यों नहीं लगा देते? सुपर सेल्फलेस हो जाओ. If you get this logic, it's very easy to understand, not difficult. Anyhow, so that quality cannot be changed of being a servant. Being filled with many such contradictory qualities, the jiva taught by me is astonishing. So, you know, the Lord, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan is explaining why the jiva is astonishing, because we see here in this world, everything is transforming, getting affected by circumstances, but the jiva is not getting affected. That person, Kashyap, who has attained the mercy of Guru and has a pure heart, realizes the true nature of this astonishing jiva with contrary qualities through performance of prescribed duties and observing truthfulness, austerities, chanting japa and such things. So now he very clearly explains what is the meaning of pashyati. So he said normal, as we are explaining, that people are not able to see the Atma. But those who get the mercy of spiritual master, by following his instruction, their mirror of the heart gets purified and they can see the Atma. They can see their self. And when they see, wow, then they become astonished. Does it make sense? Very nice commentary. Kashyap means some people, not everybody can see the Atma. So when they actually get the vision of Atma, they become astonished. And this will be explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. By advanced bhakti, a person is able to see himself and the Supreme Lord within the heart. You will see in the second, we have just now, yesterday we did this Parayan, it came in one of the shlokas of second chapter of Bhagavatam. Pashyanti is in Bahuvachan. So many people who actually do bhakti, Shruta Grahitaya, by hearing from Vedas, by hearing from the spiritual master, they execute bhakti. By increased bhakti, their avidya is destroyed and they can see Krishna. See Krishna and see Krishna and himself also in their hearts. Nahi samajh raha hai? If my mirror, this glasses are covered, it's not that the vision is not there. Beautiful vision is there, but if my mirror gets clean, glasses are clean, I can very easily see, oh, acha, very nice, very nice. Is it not? Like this. So that's what they're saying. The true nature of Atma can be seen by prescribed duties and by austerities. The word Ascharyavat can modify the subject or the object. The person sees the jiva as an astonishing object. So you see, he sees the Atma as very astonishing. Okay? Or the person sees the jiva and is astonished. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschid enam. So now it can, Ascharyavat means it is very astonishing. Enam, this Atma is very astonishing. The object, what he is seeing? The object. Object is Atma. So he was seeing the Atma, he sees the Atma as very astonishing. So the word Ascharyavat can be linked with the word Atma. And by seeing the Atma, he himself becomes very astonished. The subject, the person who is seeing the Atma, he himself becomes astonished. So the word Ascharyavat can also go with the person who is seeing the Atma. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? हिंदी समझ में आएगी क्या? इंग्लिश समझ में आ रही है? आत्मा को देख रहा है तो आत्मा को बड़ा आश्चर्यजनक रूप से देख रहा है, और जो स्वयं देख रहा है तो खुद बड़ा आश्चर्यचकित हो जा रहा है, तो दोनों आश्चर्य शब्द दोनों जगह घटित हो जाएगा. I hope if those who I don't know how good my English is, but I hope it's understandable. Similarly, someone speaks of the jiva as astonishing or speaks about the jiva with astonishment. So the same logic you should apply in all other things. Don't look at the lamp now. Look at Bhagavad Gita. Constant sense gratification. In Bhagavad Gita also, somehow that you want to get some heat. By Bhagavad Gita, your fire, what is that? Sir, your ignorance get destroyed. Light is there in your life. What do you think about this lamp? But I know if I would have been there, I would also look, putting my feet near the lamp. But the idea is just like when a person sees the Atma as astonishing and he himself gets astonished. Similarly, when a person speaks of the Jiva, he says Jiva is very astonishing. The living entity is astonishing, and he himself, when he talks about the living entity, he is astonished. So in all the sentences, there are 3 sentences. Pashyati, and then Vadati, Shrunoti, 3 places. Then on all the places, it is the principle of astonishment is going to be linked with both the subject and the object. That's what is spoken in the commentary. Okay, and hears about the jiva as an astonishing thing, or hears about the jiva with astonishment. Now is able to understand these points? Okay. Even having heard about the Atma, a person who is not pure in heart, Kashid, does not understand about it. You see, the first line says, Ashcharyavat Pashyati Kashchidenam. So there Kashid, now that Kashid means some people who have actually purified their vision by prescribed duties, they are able to see the Atma. And in the last part, that even after hearing, they are not able to understand, means they have not followed the proper path of prescribed duties by which they can understand the Atma. Kashid, you understand? Kashid means some people like this. Thus, the true nature of the jiva is difficult to understand. Why? Because people don't want to follow the prescribed path of purification of their hearts. Shravanayapi bahubir yona labhya shranavatopi bahavo yam no na vidyuhu ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha ascharya gyata kushalanushishta. Similar shloka. That Atma is not the subject of hearing for many. That's very, very easy to understand. Not everybody understands, or want to understand, or want to hear about Atma. Prabhupada went to MIT, he said, is there any department for Atma? No. Quite amazing, is it not? So this is the best university in the whole world, but they have no concept of Atma. So that is not the subject of their hearing. If, it's interestingly put in by Srila Sukadeva Goswami, they have thousands and thousands of topics to hear. Apashyat Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. I'm forgetting the first line, very nice. Nirnam Santri Sahasrashah. Nirnam Santi Sahasrashah. They have thousands of topics to hear. Apashyat Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Those whose mind is simply absorbed in household affairs, they have thousands of topics to hear except Atma Tattva. They cannot see the Atma Tattva. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nirnam Santi Sahasrasha Apashyatah Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Shrotavyani Rajendra. Very, very important. Shrotavya. They have so many subject matters to hear. It's such an important duty to hear. Oh Rajan, oh Parikshit Maharaj. Nirnam Santi Sahasrasha. These people around this world have thousands of topics to hear, which are very important to hear. They give so much importance to hear that. Apashyata Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Because their mind is simply attached to household duties, household whatever engagements, they cannot see the Atma Tattva. Same thing what the Lord is telling is being spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. They don't even hear. See, if you don't hear a subject matter, how can you ever think of understanding it? How can we even have a desire to understand a subject matter if we have never heard about it? Have you ever thought about drinking dragon fruit juice? You can't even look. You don't know how it looks. You never heard of it. So now I'm talking about dragon fruit. then you will think of what is this dragon fruit? Does it make sense? सुना ही नहीं है तो उधर मति ही नहीं जाएगी ना. If many persons hear about the Atma, they still do not know it. Beautiful commentary. Many people don't hear about Atma. But somehow or other, if you bring 1,000 people and you tell them about Atma, still they won't understand about it. One who speaks about the Atma is rare, and a skillful speaker is rare. समझ रहे हैं? There are some people who can speak about Atma, but a person who actually knows about Atma is still more rare. One who attains the Atma is rare, that means you can actually see the Atma. One who knows from a skillful teacher is rare. Because you know that by knowing from a skillful teacher means one has to practice austerity. It's not that we wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and then we understand what is Atma. And it means 4 o'clock I was body and 9 o'clock I am Atma. Is it not? That's what I actually every day feel. 4 o'clock I am too tired, I am too this, I am too that. You are nothing. Is it? It's on all mental platform. You know that? I heard that Napoleon Bonaparte, in terms of sleeping, I still can't do it. He used to sleep only while he was on the horse. He will not sleep at all. While on the horse, he used to sleep. Like I don't know how he used to drive the horse also. They were so committed. And they still did not die. So like this people have done. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Since Gita Upanishad is largely based on the principles of the Upanishads, it is not surprising to also find this passage in the Katha Upanishad. Prabhupada quotes the same shloka. Shravanyapi bahubir yona labhya shrunvatopi bahavo yamna vidyuhu Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha ascharasya gyata kushala anushishtaha. The fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space, is certainly very amazing. Just think about the banyan tree of Calcutta. Amazing, vast expansion. And we know that this whole banyan tree is one soul. It's not that many souls are there. There can be. Think about it. In your body, in our body, how many souls are there? So you see, Ashcharyavat. After hearing also, people can't understand. Kid zone. My dear kids, in our body, how many souls are there? Yes. So many, practically infinite. Because there are so many microbes, this. That's why I asked a very difficult question. You see, I am not saying who is the possessor of the body, but you see, it's amazing. Exclusive right to enjoy through the senses of the body belong only to us. Is it not astonishing? There are so many microbes in the body, but they are not aware of our enjoyment. And we are not aware of their enjoyment who are enjoying us, who are enjoying on our body right now. Make sense? We are not aware of their enjoyment. Amazing, isn't it? So many people are inside this body. People. I mean to say, with all due respect. Yes, the tree also has multiple souls, which are there within the body of the tree. But the enjoyer, the soul, which is the enjoyer, as sitting as the enjoyer is only one. If you cut the tree, the only soul which has been designated with the body, only that soul feels the pain and pleasure of that body. But within the body, there are so many souls. It's also amazing, is it not? Just imagine, suppose for one day, the charge is given to one microbe of your body. Okay, now you enjoy. You know what he will do. And then can you imagine the state of levels of consciousness, what the microbe must be thinking, how the microbe must be looking at the world. This is amazing. This is inconceivable, all those things. So like this. Okay. One should at least learn that I am not old, I am not young, I am nothing of these things. I am just wearing a dress. If we actually remain fixed on this point, we'll be so much focused on practicing Krishna consciousness. If we just focus on this point that I am soul, we take prasadam, we chant Hare Krishna, we just focus on this point. Everything else is just has to be out of focus. Anyhow, we have to hear it again and again, so then we become more focused. Men with the why I'm saying this, like Prabhupada explains it, we get entangled with our self-created duties. Self-created. I have to get my sister married. No, nothing against you. I did not give in a single rupee to my sister's marriage, and that same sister is very eager to feed me. Why don't you take prasadam both morning and evening in downstairs? Isn't it only brother, only sister, not even second sister, one sister, did not even go to her marriage also, and not even given single rupee up till now for anything, maybe some prasadam or something, and still she loves. So if I'm not saying it to become indifferent to whatever your father or mother like that, but the point is, my situation is different. I was a brahmachari, but I'm just saying, if we become focused on serving Krishna, then everything which is unfavorable to Krishna has to be rejected. Something is favorable to Krishna, you accept it. I had a plan that I gave one room to my mother with a bathroom. I said, if she serves, I'll give her another room. So she wanted to extend the room outside. I said, no, not the. And then she was serving very wonderfully. And she made the whole garden ready nicely. Okay, say, okay, I'll give you a room. Then behind that, there was a plan that I told my mother not to go to Noida. Not to go to Noida. You should not go to, I make her fearful like anything. If you die, see, just my father went to Noida, within 3 days he died. If you die, I will also not come to pick you up. Oh, no. I will not come to pick you up. So then she does not go. Now she does not go, then who comes? The sister comes here. Yes, this is how we have to remain strong. And if she so see, material attachment to mother, but now that is spiritual attachment. Now she's, oh, I'm so happy. Now she went for going outside for giving exam, and then she ate that bhoga things and people made from outside. Oh, this doesn't taste the same as my mother cooks nice prasadam. It's just different, like that. So this is how we have to use this material attachment also to convert into spiritual attachment. I just want to say, please, I want to go before going forward. When I say souls, we should always remember that we need to have a loving relationship among ourselves. That is the principle. Dadati pratigrihnati gohyam akhyati prachati bhungte bhojate chaiva shadavida priti lakshan. It's not a detail which you can avoid. Vaishnav relationships have to be there. You cannot become a Vaishnav without having a Vaishnav relationship. But it is not based on sense gratification. Just now, not for your happiness, the happiness of devotees were in front of me, we have been invited for a very nice prasadam. Yes, you can just hear about it and be happy. But we will be seeing it as astonishing. So now that devotee, he hears our classes and he's very happy to hear the classes. And then that is, as a matter of reciprocation, he wants to give us prasadam. And we accept prasadam. It's not that we don't get prasadam in our kitchen or whatever. Aisa to nahi hai na. This is very important. So with our family members also, we treat them as souls by connecting them to Krishna. Make very nice bhoga and prasadam for them so that they can take, oh, my daughter is very nice. Or Milind Prabhu can at least accept the offering of his mother and they say, oh mother, so nice prasadam. And this is actually true. Does it make sense? Krishner sansar kori chhadi anachar. You give up, you make the family of Krishna and give up bad activities. So we are not teaching you to become stone-hearted. Does it make sense? Rather, you become more sensitive, more loving as a devotee. Our Anish Prabhu just came yesterday, and then I gave him a service of Tulsi Devi. And with the one spray, Tulsi Devi became very nice. So he got first benefit of service. And then I gave him some seva, and then I gave him some meva also. He takes sweets also. But to my astonishment, Ascharyavat Paschat, he did not limit his sweets to himself. At least he's told me like this. He said, I'll take these sweets and share with others. Did he do it? Did you get it? Okay. So, okay, he was not selfish. He's selfless. So that's how we have loving relationship among. You did not get it? No, you have not get it. So you understand, devotees have more loving relationship than outside people. Okay. If you don't believe, or when you go back to your homes, how long they will talk to you. Isn't it? But you can say, Prabhu ji to chhodte hi nahi. He doesn't stop talking only. Isn't that? So when we talk, then we talk about Krishna, we become happy. Men, you read this in Bhagavad Gita. Kathyantascha mam nitya tushanti cha ramanti cha bodhayanta parasparam. So this is the quality of the soul. Naraji and Shivji also are doing. So there is no question of stone-heartedness. I'm just making it clear so that you don't think that by saying I'm soul, we should become indifferent to people. Huh? Just like my mother was sick yesterday, so I had to give her the medicine, is it not? So it's not like that we have to become stone-hearted. Yes. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of the individual atomic spark of spirit, even though it is explained by the greatest authority of knowledge, who imparted lesson even to Brahma, the first living being in the universe. Beautiful. That Supreme Lord who has the capacity to reveal the knowledge within the heart of Brahmaji, from that Lord hearing also people can't understand. But it is not the fault of the Lord. The Lord revealed the knowledge within the heart of Brahmaji, but before that what price he has to pay? Tapasya. So you see, unless the heart is purified, even if the knowledge is given, you can't understand. That's why we always say, chant Hare Krishna. When you chant Hare Krishna, the heart gets purified. Then I understand Bhagavad Gita more. Then when I understand Bhagavad Gita more, then I'll chant Hare Krishna more. And those both things are purifying us. And the same, this is a very important point. This is a prerequisite to understand Bhagavad Gita. If a person doesn't chant Hare Krishna, he won't really understand Bhagavad Gita. And it's my experience how telling to people who are completely conditioned, who look like human beings. They look like human beings, but they're actually animalistic. They just can't understand the concept of Atma. And if you still don't believe me, just talk to some of your relatives today who are not chanting Hare Krishna. And then try to explain to them what is Atma. Sutva pe vedana kachaya Krishna. After hearing also they can't understand. It's a very nice joke. If a person doesn't have his own discrimination, even if Brahmaji gives him knowledge, he won't understand. Even Upanishads give him knowledge in a personified form, they can't understand. Owing to a gross material conception of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become both so great and so small. We have discussed this point. In ant also same soul, and in the elephant also same soul. They can't understand this. So men look at the soul proper as wonderful either by constitution or by description. What the soul is constituted of, Sachidananda, that is also very inconceivable. And by the description of soul also they can't understand. Illusioned by the material energy, people are so engrossed in subject matters for sense gratification that they have very little time to understand the question of self-understanding, even though it is a fact that without this self-understanding, all activities result in ultimate defeat in the struggle for existence. Beautiful point. That's what I was quoting. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nam Santi Sahasracha. They have thousands of topics to discuss about sense gratification. I remember you have to, what time you have to run? You have 10 minutes? 9 a.m.? Okay. So one time we were returning from Ambala and there were 2 or 3 old people or maybe 4. And for 6 hours they were talking about 4 or 5 subjects. One was shoe, one was paneer sabji, and one all those things. All those useless topics, and they were speaking in Punjabi. Oh, sadi galu suno, loudly, very loudly. You hear my talk, but it was just so painful. But they could not discuss anything about Atma. Anyhow, they are Siksha Gurus because we should learn from them. If they can discuss 6 hours of non-stop Prajalpa, we are only discussing 2 hours. That's quite amazing, is it not? We are still behind them. Okay. So, what does... amazing line by Srila Prabhupada. He said, they have very little time to hear about Atma. Are marne ki bhi fursat nahi hai. I have no time to die. Is it not they say like this? But mrityu ke liye aapke paas bahut fursat hai. Death has full time and energy to kill you, my dear Prabhu. But not Prabhu, but my dear person. Prabhuji is actually here about Atma. So now, this is really nice. If I don't understand who I am, will I ever know what is my need? When I don't know only who I am, and when I don't know how I'm suffering in this world, Will I ever, ever try to get out of it? Beautifully explained by Gaur Krishna Maharaj. Some people who are in jail, they become so habituated to jail that they feel it is good. It is good. I have some people, there are some people who have been living quite long, senior devotees, so to say, senior jail people. And some new people are kept under them. So this is being compared to the demigods. Demigods also are inmates only, but they had control over some things, or even the kings and ministers and all these people. They're all prisoners of the same cell, but they are a little bit promoted, a little bit up. So then what is the illusion? Oh, I'm not that bad. That this jail is also good. At least I have some people to control. That is the main enjoying mentality of the conditions. So ultimate defeat in the struggle for existence. All of us are struggling, is it not? Why we are struggling? Because there are three kinds of miseries: Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adhyatmik. And then, birth, death, old age and disease. And the body is decaying. All these things. Every second there is struggle. Because you feel the cold, you struggle and bring it near your heater, is it not? You're struggling, somehow they are right now struggling to avoid the cold. Now you're becoming hungry. So now we're going to struggle. We are struggling to somehow or other hold on to this class till the time we get prasadam. Then we struggle to digest it, and then we struggle to have it outside, get it out of our body. Everywhere there is struggle only. So why don't you struggle for Krishna? Rather, to the extent that we cannot conceive of a life which is without a struggle. Can you think of it, Anish Prabhu? A life in Vaikuntha where there is no problem. Maybe we are fearful of that life. कोई problem नहीं. Bore नहीं हो जाएंगे. Bore नहीं होंगे. Is it not? When we say on a particular day, आज बड़ा bore लग रहा है. We are feeling very bored. So basically we want to say, आज कोई problem नहीं है. There is no problem today. Is it not? Even in my mind, I just become accustomed to solve problems every day. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. This is how we are so much accustomed. And somehow the main thing is, it's not that bad. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur used to say, this place is not for a gentleman, this material world, where everybody is envious of everybody else. Perhaps they have no idea that one must think of the soul and thus make a solution to the material miseries. If you understand, I'm Krishna's servant, you serve Krishna, bang on, you become liberated. Just right now we are liberated because we're talking about Krishna. When you take prasadam, then also you're liberated. You make sense. So one after another, if you're engaged in some Krishna activity, you're acting as soul, you're acting as servant of Krishna, you become naturally liberated. But when we don't hear this in first place, how will we understand it? It's a very important point. सुनेंगे नहीं तो समझ में कैसे आएगा? नहीं सुनने से समझ में नहीं आएगा ना? This is the point. Unless we hear, we will not understand it. Some people who are inclined to hear about the soul may be attending lectures in good association, but sometimes, owing to ignorance, they are misguided by the acceptance of the super soul and the atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. This also you understand? That some people, this is Prabhupada is referring to the Mayavadis, they also talk about Atma, but then they make the blunder that Atma is also Paramatma. See, as far as accepting Atma, there is no fight. They also say we are Atma, and we also say we are Atma. But after that, ascertaining the status of Paramatma, they make a blunder. They think this Atma is all pervading, Atma also becomes Paramatma like this. This also they make a mistake. We have discussed this so many times in the previous shlokas. Atma is unchanging, it is Anu, and it will remain Anu. Okay? It will never become Vibhu. And the Lord also will not become Anu. The Lord becomes Anu through the Jivas. Because Jivas are his expansion. So he is smaller than the smallest in the form of Jivas. Anu Aniyams Mahato Mahiyan. The Lord is smaller than the smallest because Jivas are his expansion and they are very small. And he's bigger than the biggest because he himself is the biggest. Like that. It is very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands the position of the super soul, the atomic soul, their respective functions and relationships, and all other major and minor details. What are the things that are difficult to understand? Position of the super soul as a supreme enjoyer, atomic soul as a servant, respective functions and relationships. So this is called Sambandha Gyan. What is Jiva? what is the Lord, what is the material energy. All those things have to be properly understood. Only then we can properly engage in Krishna consciousness. Very, very important to understand. If I'm constantly thinking I'm a body who's offering some worship to Krishna, and Krishna should satisfy my material desires, that is not a proper way to approach Krishna. When I understand Krishna, I'm your eternal servant, and then a person can approach Krishna with proper attitude. I'm approaching you for your pleasure. So all those things have to be understood, and then a person can approach Krishna nicely. And this can only be learned in Vaishnava association, and Vaishnava association is rare. It's actually rare. And Vaishnava association in Parampara is more rare. But we can make it more available. Like devotee पूछ रहे थे, Maharaj ji, if you don't get association then in our area, then Maharaj said, if you don't get a product in your area, don't you get it online? Or you get it ordered online, is it not? So similarly, you get online association. This is actually a fact. When you are giving your association, neophyte people also, who at basic points they understand what Siddhanta, you are giving the highest mercy to a person. That association is the most rare association. So we should try to make this association as less rare as possible. गलत नहीं बोल रहा हूं. We should try to make this Vaishnava association for people as less rare as possible. This Vaishnava association is very rare. So let us try to make this rarity lesser. So I speak like this so that you can actually remain awake. And it is still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from knowledge of the soul and who's able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. Okay, I know I'm Krishna's servants, but how many people actually engage in bhajan? Actually chant Hare Krishna? They are further less. I know I'm Krishna's servant, eternal servants, but not everybody will engage in Krishna's consciousness immediately. Those people are more rare. And those who are engaging, some of them will drop out. Many of them will drop out. And those who will complete the course and understand their relationship with Krishna, they are further rare. But if somehow or other one is able to understand the subject matter of the soul, then one's life is successful, not only with this life, all the lives from behind. All these lives will get safal ho jayenge, successful ho jayenge. Can you imagine that? So with that intensity, we should take this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. This is really nice Bhagavad Gita. The easiest process for understanding the subject matter of self, however, is to accept the statements of the Bhagavad Gita spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Krishna, without being deviated by other theories. So it's very simple. Because the Lord is explaining very nicely, we hear Prabhupada's purport, Acharya's commentaries, and then we understand the nature of the soul. There is no confusion. But it also requires a great deal of penance and sacrifice either in this life or in the previous ones before one is able to accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Bang, bang on statement. If a person, all of you, I was telling to Prem Krishna Prabhu and other devotees also, and devotees on Zoom also, every day you have an eagerness to hear Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, is it not? No, Prabhuji, we are forced. No, I can't force you on Zoom at least. So all of us, we have a spark in our heart that I want to hear Bhagavad Gita. I like to hear Bhagavad Gita, is it not? I like to hear Bhagavatam. Oh, it is so tasty. This is a result of billions of lifetimes accumulated credits of bhakti, which is maybe unknowingly done or something like that. In the previous Bhagavad Gita classes in previous lives, we came and ran away. Is it not? So now Krishna is catching us. Oh, you ran away last life, but now I'm catching you. Now I'm not let you run away. Because in last life there was no Zoom, So sadhus could only come very rarely, and I could do something in my room and not do bhakti, then they would not see also. Now the sadhus are seeing also what I am doing in my room and chanting Hare Krishna. Not. That is, I'm not telling you simply as a joke, but it's a fact. हम भी बहुत भगे हैं पिछले जन्म में भक्ति कर रहे आए छोड़ दिया. Now that's why we are remaining fixed. So we should be very accommodating. Many people will come and go, but we should not develop a negative attitude towards them. At least they have made a contact. This sanskar of bhakti will again bring them to bhakti in the future lives. Make sense to you? But our most important focus should be for those people who are actually ready to accept Krishna consciousness now. Does it make sense? We should try to expand, but जो सामने है, जा रहे देखो तारे कहो, जो सामने उसको पहले preaching करिए. Does it make sense? It takes a lot of energy to be invested in one person to actually थोड़ा कुछ देर बाद चमकेगा उसको कि क्या बोल रहे थे प्रभु. Minimum I see that 4 to 5 years people takes. But I am seeing that Zoom devotees are picking up very fast. But still, I will not name. At least I will name her designation. Her. I will not name her. When she was asked, Mataji, what is the form of the soul? No, soul has no form. Immediately the answer came, soul has no form. So, no problem. This answer is coming from previous some sanskars. So it has to be deleted. No, soul has a form, although it is minute. So you see, it's difficult to understand the soul. I sometimes make joke. Don't please take it otherwise. But the idea is, it takes a lot of austerity. So this life, we should be very much eager to do all austerity as possible. ज़्यादा क्या करना है? जब भी तो करना है. Chanting Hare Krishna, you take prasadam. This is simple austerity, and get up early in the morning every day. Krishna can, however, be known as such by the causeless mercy of the pure devotee and by no other way. So please try to understand. Causeless mercy means, Allah cannot explain it in one few minutes. This will be a whole shloka on this. What is that? But a small short point is that the devotees are naturally compassionate to others. They don't see their bad or good qualities. They speak about Krishna. That is their causeless mercy. That's how we understand. That's how all of us came into contact with Krishna consciousness. We did not go to a particular devotee. First of all, we did not know that devotees exist. How will we go to them? It's not. I just went there because my first session, because attendance was compulsory. And somehow but it's all by Lord's arrangement. But I was saying that devotees speak, and that's what every devotee should do. He should be causelessly merciful to others. It's not in an expectation that they will give you prasadam or they will do something like. Just it will please the Lord. I was just reflecting on this. I mean, you have to go now, is it not? If you love somebody, would you like to do something very dear to him? It's natural, is it not? Now we are thinking about love of God. But do you think love of God is different from being compassionate to others in relationship with Krishna? When I love Krishna, if I have love of God, no matter how much love, whatever love I have for Krishna, I will do something which will please Krishna, is it not? And what does Krishna says? That person who gives this knowledge to others, other devotees who are faithful, is very dear to me. I was very nice, very simply I was reflecting in Bhagavad Gita, in Mangal Arati, that my love for Krishna is expressed by my service, which I will do to him, which will please him the most. Does that make sense? And he very clearly says what service he wants from us, from all of us. He does not say only Shubh Krishna Das, who is a brahmachari who preaches Bhagavad Gita, is dear to me. Does it make sense? I sometimes hear the Matajis who give class to the kids, how beautifully they are explaining about Prahlad Maharaj and Narsingh Dev, and the kids are getting the sanskar, Prahlad Maharaj. So like this, everybody should think. Just like I give an example, I am thinking to now teach harmonium. I don't know how much my mother will teach or not. But every time, the deal is, if you have to practice harmonium, you have to chant Hare Krishna along with the harmonium. So along with that learning, a person will also chant Hare Krishna. Does it make sense? So every time a devotee's obsession should be how I can actually spread this Hare Krishna mantra to the conditioned soul. This is his causeless mercy. Any devotee's causeless mercy. I don't want to glorify myself. It's the nature of all the devotees. I don't have a blood relationship with any of you, is it not? But I become very happy when I see all of you doing bhakti. और अरे आज क्यों उठ के आ गया, ऐसा तो नहीं होता. अरे आज भी आ गए जब करने के लिए, मेरे से पहले आ गया. नहीं, I don't think like that, is it not? Just like this Ekadashi was Sachin Tendulkar, he just chanted 112 rounds. So I said, no, अरे क्या मैं तो कम ही कर पाया है तो मुझसे आगे नहीं. It's not like that. Does it make sense? And it will happen to all of you. We must not simply think only about the blood relatives. Anybody we should preach. जो भी सामने आ जाए उसी गोली मारनी, मतलब कृष्ण कथा देनी. This is very important. I'll just take up some questions and then we'll finish. How Mayavadis are commenting on these shlokas of Bhagavad Gita regarding soul, as it is very much clear, yes, from Vaishnava philosophy that soul and super soul are different. It's a fact. The very good question by Shashikant Prabhu. Prabhupada answers it very simply. Bhagavad Gita is like sun. Unless you are a rascal, number one rascal, you can't interpret it. So that's what is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mayavadi Krishna Apradi. Because they are offensive to Krishna, Krishna gives them this mati. I give an example. Just like if Narsingh Dev is in front of you in a very angry mood, will you fight with him? Narsingh Dev, oh no. So still the same Narsingh Dev was inspiring Hiranyakashipu, convinced that somehow I can fight him, and not only fight with him, I can kill him also. So the Lord only inspires them because they want to be inspired in that way. That's why we always pray in Gayatri, please inspire us. I do not tell the details, but please inspire us to serve you like this. That's the whole prayer of this. Please inspire us, because you are the inspirer. You are the inspirer. Please inspire us to serve you like this. Very nicely. Okay, no questions. I'll now give you inspiration to take. Oh, yeah, you have a question? You are supposed to go to your school? Yeah, okay. Prabhupada went to MIT and asked, is there any science of Department of Soul? Yes. That's the whole question. Even nobody is worried about what is happening after the soul. I always give the example. I think you gave me a call that Prabhuji, I'm coming. So there was some worry where I'm going to stay and what I'm going to eat. Some little bit. You had faith that we'll give you some accommodation under a tree at least, is it not? But anywhere we go for even one night. Okay, all of us go to train, have traveled in train. Why we book it? What will we sleep? And we take a tiffin of what will we eat? But a person has no anxiety where he will sleep or what body he will take next life, which can be next moment. And what he will eat, what kind of food he will eat. I mean, I'm putting my hand like this, but it can be anything. It can be even up to stool also, if a person is not discriminating. It's quite heavy. This human life is very heavy. But it can also be spiritual world. Eternal. For eternity. Think about it. And the ticket is chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles. If there is difficulty in following the 4 regulative principles, still you can continue to chant 16 rounds, and then you will see, okay, then slowly it is easy to follow these principles. But never give up this process. Directly attached with the 5 subtle bodies. I don't know what you say. You always ask difficult questions. Why don't you ask easy questions, Madan Prabhu? Then I can also smile like you. Okay? Yeah, why don't you come here and, okay, now I'll answer the questions if you come here and join. Then only I'll answer the questions. Okay, so we'll leave you now. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.